Hello, my name is Steven Shields, and this is my Node.js project for the Computer Science 380. What we're going to go ahead and start out with is opening up the command prompt here to the working directory where the project actually is. Underneath the chat project there, what we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and start the server. And I will pull up the code here in just a minute, showing you what that actually looks like. What this will actually do, it'll open up the server, so it'll actually go ahead and start connections to allow the client to interact with the server and the server with the client. This is what the server actually looks like. It's actually fairly simple. It's just requiring the HTTP and the AFS, requiring those there. And it's creating the server, requesting a response and the request, and it is going to open it up on a socket, and it's writing to and from. It's going to go only to the browser. It's not actually writing to any sort of file or database. That is something that would definitely have to be put in place if you wanted to actually use this for some sort of production type environment. Now this is going to be listening at port 1337, and it is going to interact with a HTML file, the client.html, which is here. I did actually link it to a CSS style sheet, a cascading style sheet, which actually would change how it would actually look. However, I did not put anything there. It's just blank, so there's not going to be any additional styles applied. It is going to connect here to the 127.0.0.1 port 1337, as was mentioned earlier. With that, once it's actually connected there, it'll connect to a local machine rather than being able to connect online. It was not set up to actually connect over the internet, because that is not a secure thing to do with this particular iteration of this. Later on, it would actually, with additional security things, it would actually allow you to actually use this as a more production type environment. But what we're going to go ahead and do is back to the command prompt, go ahead and hit enter there, so it'll start the server up. And like the code said, you want to go to 127.0.0.1 and :1337. You really could choose any port you wanted. The 1337 was just one that was actually chosen there with the project. And with this, you just open up two different browsers, so they'll actually chat. They'll talk to each other. Now the chat here at the top, instead of having the file name and the port, it actually has the chat. That actually came in with the code here. Oops. Right here, there's a title there. So I mean, that's something you have. It just makes it something that looks a little nicer. Now there are issues with the actual code itself. Just type some gibberish here and allow it to send. With the code, there are vulnerabilities that were not addressed for the purposes of this demonstration, like being able to put in HTML tags and have it interact there. So, I mean, this is something that would really, you want to actually nip in the bud before you actually would put this in some sort of production environment. For the purposes of this demonstration, as I said, I didn't bother with it. Now, you could actually do that. Now, some of the difficulties, obviously, I mean, aside from the security issues that we just demonstrated there, I mean, they're just issues actually setting up the environment itself, getting the server to actively listen like that. That's just some of the difficulties there. Now, technology like this can actually be used and is used a lot for asynchronous messaging programs like the Facebook Messenger uses a technology similar to this. They'll actually go in and record those messages into a database, and that's something that could be put on here, and with further iterations, if I would actually make further iterations with this, I could actually include a database and connect to a database. So all this information, instead of being gone when it's refreshed, you have the option of keeping it and looking back on it, or pulling it up and using it. Now the Node.js is actually meant for building the fast, scalable network applications, and isn't really meant for CPU-intensive enterprises, like actually using it as a video editor or something like that. That's not what Node.js is for. It's meant for interaction there on a small scale. It's not meant for the heavy applications. Now, I would like to thank you for your time here. Alright, thank you.